tonight in our practice. But welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. For those of you who are new to this class, my name is Amanda McIntire, and this is the beginning yoga class offered through OLLI, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is part of UVM's continuing and distance education. And so we've been doing this remotely for several weeks now, and we're going to continue through the month of June. This is a beginner's class. And this is a class where I want you to do whatever it is that works best for you during this hour, whatever's most comfortable in your body, whether that's stretching more than what I'm offering up, or whether that's taking a little bit of a break for yourself. Whatever it is that you need, this class and this time is for you. I recommend if you're wearing socks, if you're in a space that's warm enough, it's often much more comfortable and safe to practice without your socks on, so if you could remove those, that would be great. Yeah, I think that those are the logistics kinds of things. This is an hour-long class. I'm going to keep track of the time, so not something that you need to worry about. The only time we have is right now. So one of the reasons that I love to teach yoga is that I really believe that most of us, most of the time, feel better at the end of a yoga class than we do when we start. And that feeling that we have, whatever it is that we got from the class, whether it's energy or balance or calm or strength or all of those things, it has this, this ripple effect because that positivity, that health that we bring to ourselves through the yoga practice, it's contagious in everything that we do in a really positive way, in the people that we interact with, and the choices that we make, and the way we communicate, that sort of thing. So that's part of why I love to teach yoga, because I think it has this amazing positive ripple effect. I also really love teaching yoga because there's an element of yoga that is really about self-acceptance, about awareness of yourself through this practice that we do of the body, the breath, and the mind, and seeing yourself in this really non-judgmental sort of a way for who you are and where you're at in any given moment. And I think that that's so important right now, because I'm having this experience, and I'm talking to lots of people who are really, you know, we have so many different things that are going on in our lives right now, more than we ever have before. And I'm talking to people who, you know, feel like, you know, I don't feel like I'm being a really great parent right now, or I'm not being as good of an employee, or as a partner, or as a kid, or as a parent, or as an educator as I'd like to be. Or on a bigger level, I feel like I'm not doing enough as a human to make the world a better place, to save the environment, to help people who are in pain or who don't have as much privilege as I do. We all have these different kinds of competing things that are going on, and oftentimes we end up with this similar message that's like, there's not enough of me to go around. It's not enough. What I'm doing is not enough. I'm not teaching my kid enough while I'm trying to do my job, while I'm trying to be a good partner and trying to be healthy and those sorts of things. So, good news, I'm here to tell you that none of that's true. You are enough. All of those things that you are doing is absolutely enough. A lot of them, it's probably even more than enough. Are there things that we could be doing more of, that we could be doing better? Yeah, absolutely. But what we're doing right now, even just in this one moment together, getting ready to practice yoga, is absolutely enough. You coming to this class tonight, whether this is your first time or your 100th time coming to one of my classes, you're taking this time in this hour to do something that's really healthy for yourself, that then is going to benefit people around you, and it's going to benefit you in all of those roles that maybe you're feeling like you're not where you would like to be, or you'd like to be a little bit more. Yoga does not begin when you touch your toes, right? So they don't say like, oh, well, you're good enough at yoga when you can touch your toes. It isn't about that at all. Yoga is about the journey on what you learn on your way down to your toes, and maybe you end up being able to touch them and maybe not. But regardless, you participating in this practice is absolutely enough, whether your toes are really close by or really far away. So I hope that as we go through our practice tonight that you can embrace this idea of you being perfect where you're at right now, that you are absolutely enough in all of these different roles that you have and in your yoga practice here on your mat. So be kind to yourself, give yourself a break. Oh, I saw this really great bumper sticker the other day. It said, humankind, be both. So we are all human, and isn't that such a beautiful and a challenging thing? But absolutely, we are all enough. So please be kind to yourself as we go through our practice tonight, and I'll help give you some reminders along the way. Let's begin by finding a comfortable seat, whatever that might be like for you tonight. And maybe you're sitting up, propped up on something or directly on your mat. You can have your legs crossed if you'd like, or if it feels better to have the legs extended, that's totally fine as well. Just make sure that the weight is even between both of your hips and that you're sitting up nice and tall in your seat. So think of the crown of your head extending up towards the ceiling, like maybe there's some sort of magnetic pull, as your shoulders just relax down on your back. If you find that you need to adjust a little bit in this seat, do that. If you sat down and you're like, wait a minute, this is so uncomfortable for me, see if you can find a seat that's a bit more comfortable for you. You're meant to be here in this class right now, and truth be told, it is inevitably very uncomfortable for most of us to sit on the ground. So do your best to see what works for you tonight. Place your hands on your knees or thighs, find a nice long spine, and close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze as you allow yourself to arrive on your mat and in this seat. And if you're still closing the cat in the other room and trying to figure out where your other yoga block is, don't worry about it. You've already made it. I'm really glad that you're here. So just take your time and find your seat. Begin to connect with your breath here with every inhale, sitting up a little bit taller, a little brighter in your seat. With every exhale, let all of the CO2 out. Let your shoulders relax. Let the face soften. And when all the air is pressed out of your lungs, take another deep, full, slow inhale. Sitting up tall, sitting up bright, until your lungs are as full as they can be, and then take your time exhaling until you get to the bottom of the breath. And just do your best to keep your focus on these long, deliberate breaths. Bringing in fresh, bright energy with every inhale. Letting go, getting rid of whatever you don't need with every exhale. you find that your mind has started to wander away from your breath, bring it on back. Check in with your seat and make sure you're still sitting up nice and tall as you continue to breathe in and out. Sitting in meditation is often a great opportunity to find some self-acceptance. Maybe you're overthinking your breath and trying too hard with it. Wherever you're at is fine, so just let it go. Your effort is enough. Maybe you've struggled to find a comfortable seat and you're still scooching around trying to find a way to make this comfortable for you. Really good work. Keep trying it out and find what works for you. That's perfect. Maybe you found your comfortable seat, found your breath, and with ease we're able to let go of some things today. That's perfect. Really good job. Wherever you're at, keep sitting up nice and tall and bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart. We'll begin our practice tonight by chanting the sound of Om together. And we can chant it as loudly or as softly as you would like. It's totally up to you. And don't worry about it if you want to do it on the inside and think the sound Om. Perfect. And if you want to really belt it out tonight and your voice starts to wobble a little bit, that's absolutely enough also. You're doing it right. We'll chant the sound Om just one time. Follow my lead. Take a full exhale and a deep inhale for Om. Release your hands and gently let your eyes flutter open, letting the light back in. Really great Om, however you executed it, was perfect. Keep sitting up nice and tall in your seat, shoulders relaxed, and extend your arms out to the sides with your palms facing straight ahead. Keep your stomach slightly tucked in and shoulders on the back. As you inhale, float your arms up, lift your gaze if your neck and equilibrium will allow. Let the shoulders relax, connect the palms, and as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And see if you can follow your hands with the gaze. So inhale, palms reach up, take a look up. You're inhaling, connect the palms, exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale once again, like your arms are wings. How wide can you spread them? Inhaling to take a look up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Once again, inhale and reach the arms wide. This time when you get up to the very top, check in with yourself. Relax the shoulders and pull the belly in. And if looking up makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel dizzy or sick, you can always take a look straight ahead towards me. Create fists with the hands and do some circles with the wrists. And switch directions. Nice. And of course, if your arms start to get tired, you're also always welcome to release them. Come to stillness with the hands and spread the fingers really wide, and then stretch each digit across the palm. So pointer finger, ring finger, and so on, really stretching each finger. And then spread the hands really wide, like how wide can you spread your fingers? Nice. All right, connect the palms, exhale, and bring your hands to your heart. Bring your right hand behind you and left hand on the opposite knee as we gently twist towards the right side. And then make your way through center over to the other side. So left hand comes behind you, right hand on the bent knee. And your left hand can be on the floor behind you, or for me, the floor is kind of far away right now because I'm on a block. So I have my hand placed on my low back. And exhale to unwind back to center. And come into Dandasana, or staff pose. That's where we're seated with the legs straight out in front of you. If you're sitting on a block or something that had you propped up pretty high, you may want to remove it. I'm sitting on a blanket right now for a little bit of height. All right. So legs are as straight as they can be, but certainly if you need a bend in them this early in the practice, do that. Hands are on either side of your hips as you sit up nice and tall. All the strength is in the legs and in the torso. So the hands are just for a little bit of balance. No leaning back like we're at the beach or something. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, float the arms up. Take a look up towards your fingertips. Shoulders are relaxed. Belly is tucked in as you exhale. Hinge at the hips and fold forward, releasing your hands wherever they go. So remember I said that yoga is about what you learn on your way to your toes, not whether or not you can touch your toes. In this posture, your hips are rooted, your shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears, and you have your arms extended as much as you can. Maybe you can reach your feet, but certainly your shins or the floor are absolutely fine. I'm leading with my heart here, so rather than with my head, I'm keeping the spine and neck in alignment and leading with the chest. With every inhale, lengthen your spine a little bit out of the hips. Extend the head out of the shoulders. And then exhale, see if you can sink a little bit deeper or maybe straighten the legs a little bit more. But wherever you're at, this is where you're at right now. So check it out, notice, see if there's something that can make you feel more comfortable. Or at least just notice where you're at right now, because maybe we'll revisit this posture a little later and see if there's a difference. Walk your hands in to allow the torso to rise up. And then bend your knees. And I'm setting my blanket off to the side right now. Bring your hands behind your thighs as you sit up nice and tall. Engage your belly, so pull the lower belly in and tuck your ribs in. And then gently tip back for boat pose or Navasana. See if you can get your feet up off of the mat. And then if you're able, maybe even bring your shins to parallel. Check in with your breath. Make sure that you're breathing. And if you find that your breathing is compromised, back off of the posture a little bit. Maybe lower your feet more to the floor or release the back of the legs. Keep your shoulders relaxed down on your back. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can try freeing your hands from behind the thighs. See if you can stay nice and strong in the belly here. Nice. And come to a cross-legged seat. And then roll over the knees, coming into a tabletop position on all fours. And certainly if you have tender knees, feel free to cushion them with a blanket or by rolling your mat. But we're going to align the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the wrists. Walk your hands forward just a couple of inches. As you inhale, you're going to tip the pelvis, drop the belly, drop the chest, and take a look up towards the ceiling like your spine is a wave. As you exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone, round the lower back, round the shoulders and hollow the chest, and tuck the chin. Cat pose. Once again, inhale, tip the pelvis, drop the belly, drop the chest, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, tip the tailbone, round the lower back, round the shoulders. And then do a few more of these in your own breath and in your own time, remembering this idea of moving the spine like a wave. Inhaling to drop the belly, exhaling to round the spine. And after your next exhale, come back to a neutral spine, flat back. And get nice and strong here. So pull in at the belly, hug in at the thighs, engage by pressing the hands into the floor to get solid in the arms. Extend your right arm directly out in front of you. And then strong and steady, extend the left leg directly behind you. So strong and steady means hugging in at the thighs, pressing the sole of the left foot to the wall behind you, seeing if you can be as balanced and unwobbly here as possible. Now, if you're wobbly here, no problem. See if you can pull in the belly a little bit. Press more into the left hand. Good job. For an added challenge, bend the left knee and with the right arm, reach behind you. Now, you may find a connection between your hand and your toes, your ankle, or your pants, or you may find that you're not exactly sure where your foot is behind you. Wherever you're at, stay nice and strong and keep reaching. Try to keep the shoulders square to the front of the mat. In this posture, we're working on balance and strength. And so if your hand and foot don't connect, that's okay. But be kind to yourself here. Extend your arm and leg out nice and long, really reach, nice long spine. And then lower your hand and knee down to the floor and take any movements that might feel good here. So hip circles is one that often feels nice after an extended table. And if your wrists are tender, sometimes some wrist circles or placing the backs of the hands on the mat can feel good. And then make your way back to tabletop once again, nice and strong. Make sure that that right hand is firmly planted as you extend the left arm out in front. On your next inhale, extend the right leg directly behind. Think about reaching with the left fingertips straight ahead towards me as you press the sole of the right foot to the wall behind you. Hugging in at the thighs and at the belly. And then bend the right knee with the left hand, reach behind. Maybe this foot is closer, maybe it's further away. Either way, do your best to stay grounded, to listen to your body, and to know that what you're doing is enough. And if you grab your foot and all of a sudden your back is really pinchy, let go of the foot. Because just working on trying to find this posture best in your body is absolutely enough for now and always. All right, extend the arm and leg out nice and long, really reach. Excellent, lower the hand and knee back down to the floor. Again, take any movements that might feel good here, any hip circles or wrist circles. And then come to stillness and step your right foot forward to a low lunge. And get yourself situated here. So if you have to cushion your back knee with a towel or a blanket or something, do that. Notice that I have my knee and my foot hip width apart. And come on up to standing on that back knee. Nice. All right, hands are on the hips. As you exhale, you're going to shift the weight forward, opening up through the left quad and hip flexor, and reach the arms up overhead. If you find this to challenge your balance a little bit, hug everything into the midline. So squeeze in at the thighs, hug in at the belly. Nice. All right, exhale. Release your hands down towards the floor or blocks if the floor is far away. Shift the hips back and flex your right toes up towards the ceiling, and we're extending the torso over the right leg. Now I'm flexing my right toes back more towards my face in order to try to get into my right hamstring. And with the left hand, reach towards the pinky toe side of the right foot to really get into the IT band. Again, you can use blocks or have your hands on the floor or on your extended leg. All right, come back to center, bend into the front knee once again. Hands come to the right leg. Keep your left hand on the bent knee. As you inhale, sweep the right arm behind you for a bit of a twist. Looking at that right thumb. All right, exhale to unwind, and we'll switch sides. So bring the right knee back as you step the left foot forward. And again, do what you need to adjust. If it happens that your right knee is the one that needs some cushioning, but the left one was all good, take your time. Do what you need to. This is your practice. Come to standing on the back knee, nice and tall, nice and strong in the belly. As you exhale, we're going to move the weight forward in the hips, opening up through the right hip and quad. Inhale, float the fingertips up. If you're able to take a look up towards the ceiling. Let the shoulders be relaxed. Let your jaw be soft. Exhale to release your hands back down towards the floor or towards the blocks. You're going to move your hips back as you try to straighten the front left leg. And maybe you need to use your hand. Maybe you know that that leg can be a little bit straighter, like maybe not totally straight, but feel free to use the hand to do that. We're extending the torso over the left leg. Nice long spine, nice long neck. And the right hand goes to the pinky toe side, either to a block, the shin, or the floor. All right, bend back into that front knee. Once again, bringing your hands to the thigh. Right hand stays on the knee. Inhale to sweep the left arm behind you for a twist. See if you can take a look at your back thumb. Keep hugging everything into the midline here. Exhale to gently unwind back to center. Plant your hands on the floor. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. And shift your hips back, coming into child's pose or Balasana. Fingertips are extended up towards the top of the mat. Hips are moved back towards your heels. Nice long spine here. Inhale to come up to tabletop. Walk your knees back just a couple of inches. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches and come on into plank, top of a push-up. So we've got the shoulders over the wrists, fingers are spread wide, legs are straight. And here, your core is engaged. So you're pulling in at the lower belly, your ribs are tucked, tailbone's pointed towards your heels. Nice steady breath. All right, keep your hands and feet where they are and move your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Pedal your feet out, so that means alternating bending each knee, getting some movement through the hips. Nice. Come to stillness with the legs. And then walk your feet up towards your hands so that you're at a forward fold at the top of your mat. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. You're hinged forward at the hips and your legs are as straight as they can be. But if they need a bend in them, even if it's a big bend, do that. That's totally fine. Grab opposite elbows here. Let your head relax so that the crown of your head is pointing towards the floor. Keep the lower leg steady and just gently let your upper body rock from side to side. All right, come to stillness. Release the elbows. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into your feet and come on up to standing. Really nice job. Shake it out a little bit. Find yourself up at the top of your mat. Get some water if you need to. If you're using blocks tonight, do have the blocks up at the top of your mat. That makes it a little bit easier. And we'll start by finding mountain pose or Tadasana. So feet are hips distance apart and parallel. I'm taking a look down at my feet to make sure they're directly below my hips. Bring a soft bend in the knees and engage the abdominal muscles here. So to do that, you're going to stick your tailbone out and pull your lower abdominals in. I'm going to give you an exaggerated version. Pull the low belly in. If you're not sure where that is, feel free to put your hands below the belly button to find some engagement there. Cool. So keep that strength and then neutralize the spine so that it's more having the tailbone pointing towards the floor. You'll see I kind of got locked in with my muscles through the abdominal area here. So nice and strong, straighten the legs and release your arms down by your sides. And if you have to do that again to try to find that strength around the midsection, do that. Stand up nice and tall, extending the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Inhale and float the arms up. Feel your feet pressing into the floor as your fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. Little bit of a back bend, open up the chest. Arch back a little bit. Come to center. Exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive all the way forward into a forward fold or Uttanasana. So remember, yoga is not about whether you can touch your feet or whether you can straighten your legs. So I often hear from students when we do this posture that they have to bend their knees really deeply. Totally fine. That's what your body needs. And so that means that you're doing it right and that you're doing it enough. So keep breathing and keep being kind to yourself wherever you're at, because it's just right. Step your right foot back to a lunge. Hands are going to stay connected to the floor or to a block or blocks. And remember, if you're using blocks, that they're three-dimensional, so you get to decide how tall they are. That's pretty great. Stay really strong and rooted in your feet. so that you have very little weight on your hands wherever they're at. Sometimes it helps to steeple your fingertips if the floor is far away. Plant your right hand on the floor or on a block as you reach your left fingertips up for a twist. We're trying to stack the shoulders while still staying really straight through the back leg. All right, exhale to lower the lifted hand back down and make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. Now maybe you can step straight back, or maybe it's a better idea for you to drop your knees first. Whichever way is great. So do your best to end up here with the shoulders over the wrists, nice straight legs, and knees lifted. And if you've been waiting for more plank tonight and you want to try an extra challenge, you're welcome to hover your right foot off of the mat just a couple of inches, making sure that you're not compromising the integrity of the posture. And if you're not lifting your foot tonight, or if that seems like more than you need, perfect. And in fact, if you've already dropped your knees, excellent. You're listening to your body and you've done enough. If your foot is hovered, lower it. Everyone drop your knees, point your toes, and bring your torso all the way down to the mat. Legs are straight and your toes are pointed. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then engage the abdominals again. So pull the lower belly in, squeeze the glutes, and as you exhale, gently peel your chest off the mat for cobra. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale to lower yourself back down. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward dog. You can either do a push-up into plank, or you can join me in coming onto all fours and tabletop, and then moving up and back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out a little bit here once you've found your down dog. And then come to stillness with the legs. Walk your feet up towards your hands, coming to a forward fold at the very top of your mat. Bend your knees, get your hips underneath you, press into the feet and inhale your way all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. Shake it out a little bit. So that was the first half of a sun salutation. There's all these different pieces that you can do. You can hover your foot in plank and hold it forever. You can drop your knees first. You participating in this practice and doing the best that you can with it is perfect. That's absolutely enough. So I hope that you're giving yourself credit for that. Two sides, yay. So that means we get to do this again. Find yourself up at the top of your mat. Find mountain pose. So how tall, how strong, how solid can you be here? Strong in the belly, strong in the mind and in the breath. Extend the crown of the head up towards the sky. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. This time, left foot goes back to a lunge. We've got the front knee directly aligned over the front ankle. Back knee is lifted and your hands are connected to the floor or to blocks. Nice long spine and long neck here. Left hand goes to the floor or the block as you reach the right fingertips up, maybe even spiraling the chest to look up towards your lifted hand. Exhale to lower your right hand back down and make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. You can either step straight back or drop the knees first, nice and strong. And if you're so inclined, you're welcome to hover your opposite foot, which is the left foot, a couple inches off of the mat. Wherever you are in plank, make sure you're looking out on the floor ahead of the mat so you have a nice long neck. Make sure that you're breathing. If your foot is lifted, lower it, and then you can either lower down in one straight line or drop your knees first as you come all the way down to the floor. Point your toes, release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Squeeze the legs together. Get really strong in the belly and the hips and in the glutes. And on an exhale, lift everything you can up off of the mat. So feet, fingertips, chest. For locust pose. Exhale to lower back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Take your time as you work your way back to downward dog. You can push up through plank, or you can come through tabletop, but find yourself in Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog. And walk your feet up towards your hands, coming to a forward fold once again. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Nice job. All right, shake that out. And then make your way more towards the center of your mat and come to a wide stance. And I'll move these so you can see my feet. My feet are at a 45-degree angle. So that means my heels are in a little bit, my toes are out a little bit. Come on into a squat. Now notice in my squat, I've got my knees aligned with my toes. So do the best that you can to have your knees aligned with your toes. Might mean that you need to widen through the inner thighs, but we want to avoid having the knees come in and then get all wonky and hurt yourself. We don't want to do that. So nice and tall in this squat. Bring your arms up to cactus arms or goddess arms, Devasana. And in this posture, let the shoulders relax. Let the weight sink into your hips, into your heels. Make sure you're breathing here. And give yourself credit. This might be very challenging for you right now. You might be having a little bit of that sacred shake, or you might feel the heat building a little bit. Awesome. Good job. And if you're not feeling the heat, and you're not quite feeling that sacred shake, maybe you want to try sinking a little bit deeper. And if you're like, yeah, no, I don't think so, perfect. You got the theme for tonight, which is that what you're doing is absolutely enough. So you do you, and if you just got deeper into this posture and you're like, wow, that was a bad idea, come on out of it. All right, take your left arm to the left thigh, reach your right fingertips up overhead, modified side angle pose. And then come through center, other side. Right arm comes to the right thigh, left fingertips reach up overhead. And inhale to come back to center, arms at 90 degrees. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Nice. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your feet so that they are parallel to the edges of the mat. Exhale and hinge at the hips, coming to a flat back, so you're looking down at the floor. And then let yourself sink all the way forward. Free your hands to wherever's comfortable as you come into a wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up. All right, make your way up to the top of the mat. So, yoga is a practice. It's not a competition. It's not a performance. It's this thing that we do, this science that we do to promote all of our best pieces of wellness through our mind and our body and our breath. So be kind to yourself as we go through the next portion of our sequence. Find yourself in a nice tall stance, mountain pose with your arms down by your sides. Inhale and float your arms up overhead. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. Let your head relax. And bring your left hand to your left hip. Now your knees may need to be really bent deeply here, but I'm going to suggest that you try to take your right peace fingers, which is your pointer finger and your middle finger on the right hand, and hook them around your big toe on the right foot. Now, if that seems really, really, really far away, then maybe you want to skip that portion of this. All right, so if you're not holding on to the foot, perhaps you're holding on to the shin or to your other hip. But we're going to begin to pour our weight into the left foot. You're holding on to your right toe as we come on up to standing. Now, if you have to drop the foot, do that. Is this really awkward? Yes, it is. Is this hard? It is. So maybe you made it up with the foot. Maybe you're like, what are you doing to me in this beginner's yoga class right now? And if you're in that situation, stand up tall wherever you're at and hold on to the knee or the thigh. But if you're able to grab the toe, cool, do that. And this might be it tonight, and if it is, good job, this is plenty. If you want to try a little bit more, maybe extend the leg out in front of you. Does it have to be straight? No. Can it be? Maybe. But wherever you're at is perfect. And if you're wobbling and falling over, I hope that you're laughing. And you're welcome to get back into the posture or say, oh no, I'm going to watch you be silly on camera, Amanda. That's fine. All right, we're still doing this. One more step. Maybe you can open your leg out to the side, or maybe you're holding on to your knee here because that toe is just way too far away. Maybe your foot's closer to the floor than mine. But wherever you are, you're being kind to you, please, or you're working on it. All right, bring the leg back forward if you're holding on to the toe. Whoa. And as we exhale, we're going to hinge forward. If you're not holding on to the foot, that's cool, but we're going to end up in a forward fold. What the heck was that? But again, good news, two sides. So we get to do that all over again. All right, so this time we're going to take the right hand and place it on the hip. Left peace fingers go around the left big toe. Or maybe you're not going to do the foot grab tonight. Wherever you're at, start to shift your weight into the right foot. See if you can come up to standing, keeping your left foot off of the floor. Maybe you can even hold on to the toe. Did it get more graceful on this side? No, that's okay. Stand up nice and tall wherever you're at. Maybe you're holding a toe, maybe it's your knee. If you're able to extend the leg straight out in front of you, try it out. Maybe it's kind of bent, that's fine. And then we'll try opening the leg out to the side, or perhaps you're holding on to a knee or holding on for dear life somewhere here too. Wherever you are, you're breathing. And what you're doing is enough. If you're just sitting on your mat watching right now, taking in the experience, that's enough. You're doing a great job at that too. All right, if your leg is extended out to the side, whatever it looks like, bring it on forward. If you can, hinge at the hips. If you have to let go, by all means, please do. But come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Nice job. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into your feet and come on up to standing. Maybe that didn't feel like a nice job to you, but you tried it out or you assessed and were like, no, that's a bad idea for me tonight. So wherever you're at, I'm glad. Find yourself in mountain pose. Stand up nice and tall. Inhale and float your arms up towards the sky. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive all the way forward. Inhale up halfway to a flat back with your hands on your thighs and your elbows tucked in. Exhale once again and fold forward. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. And bring your hands to your heart. Step your right foot back for warrior two. So take a nice big stance here. You should be using the majority of the mat. Back foot is parallel to the back of your mat and your front heel aligns with the back arch. You then bend into this front knee so it lines up with the ankle and your back leg is straight. Inhale the arms up to a T. Keep your shoulders relaxed down on the back and then turn your head so you're looking over your front hand, which is the left hand. Relax the shoulders. And then take a look down at your front foot. And if you find that your front knee is blocking the view of your big toe, move your knee towards your second or third toe to keep the hip open here. Nice. Bring your right arm behind your low back. Flip the left palm. Reach up for exalted warrior. Keep bending deeply into that front knee. If you can, look up towards the lifted hand. Inhale to come back to warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips. Kick off the back foot and come on up to the top of the mat. Shake it out a little bit. And then we'll do the other side. So step the left foot back for warrior two on this side. And give yourself a moment to get situated. So back foot's parallel to the back of the mat. Back leg is straight. Front knee lines up with the back arch. And you're bending into the front knee. Make sure that you can see that big toe. And inhale your arms out to a T. Turning your head to look over your front hand, which is the right hand. Soften your face and relax your shoulders. This is Virabhadrasana 2, or Warrior 2. It's a posture of strength and confidence, empowerment. Bring your left arm behind the low back, flip the right palm. Keep bending deeply into the front knee as you raise the right arm up for Exalted Warrior. Keep looking up towards your lifted hand. If that doesn't work for you, look straight ahead towards me. Inhale, come back to Warrior 2. Hands come to the hips, kick off the back foot, and come on up to the top of your mat. Shake it out a little bit, excuse me, and find yourself in mountain pose once again. Check out your feet. Make sure all four corners are rooted and that you're active in the legs and in the core as you stand up nice and tall. Inhale to float the arms up. Exhale to hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Walk your way back to a downward facing dog. And sometimes it helps to go to plank first and then move the hips up and back so you know where your hands and feet go. On an inhale, reach your right leg up for three-legged dog. In three-legged dog, it's just like regular down dog, but with one leg lifted. So weight is even between all 3 points connected to the floor. Trying to keep the hips level. And then you can either stay right here, because this might be plenty, or if you want a little bit more, you can bend the lifted knee and try stacking the hips. So that's stacking the right hip over the left to try to stretch the right quad. That lifted foot is flexed, and the lifted knee is the highest point on the body here as we stack the hips. And if you are stacking the hips here, unstack them and straighten the lifted leg. Everyone lower your right foot down to the mat, and we'll switch sides. So nice and strong in the left leg, lift it up for three-legged dog. And remember, everything that you've done is enough. So if you need to drop to your knees first, that's totally fine. You can join us again. You can go right into Shavasana, whatever you want. So you can stay right here in three-legged dog, opening up through the left hip, or you can bend the lifted knee and try stacking the left hip over the right, keeping that left hip flexed. It helps to keep the shoulders square to the front of the mat here. You'll really get into the quad more that way. If your hips are stacked, unstack them and straighten the lifted leg. And then everyone lower your left foot down to the floor. Drop your knees. Bring the big toes together. Let your knees be wide as you make your way into child's pose, moving the hips back, finding length in the spine. As if your hands are on a keyboard, begin to walk your way towards the right side, walking your hands off the mat like you're playing some really long piano. Both hands are reaching off the right side of the mat. Left hand reaches on top of the right hand as you pull the left hip back. And then again on your keyboard, make your way back through center and over to the other side. So work your hands off the left side of the mat with your right hand reaching on top of the left hand, pulling the right hip back. And gently walk your hands back to center, and then walk the hands in as your torso rises up and scoot around to a seat. Bend your knees with your feet flat on the floor and sit up nice and tall. Once again, hands come behind the thighs, nice long spine. As you exhale, we're going to gently tip back for boat pose, staying strong in the belly. And we're all in different places with boat pose, so you can decide if you want your shins parallel, if you want your hands to be free. And if you want to try an added challenge today, since we're having so much fun with the peace fingers and the big toes, go ahead and grab a hold. Maybe it's just one tonight. Maybe you just want to try one. But see if maybe you can get both of your toes and see if you can balance. And then maybe play around with it and see if you can straighten the legs or play around with your strength and balance here. There's no perfect, there's no right. We're just messing around on the mat. All right. If you're holding on to the toes, release them and bring your shins to parallel. And then everyone release down to the floor. Nice job. Oh, our time goes by so quickly. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees be wide and hold on to the ankles as you sit up nice and tall for Badakanasana. Bring the chest forward and the shoulders back as you look up towards the ceiling for a little bit of a back bend. And as you exhale, round the spine, round the shoulders, and tuck in on yourself. You can free your hands from the ankles here. As you inhale, let the torso rise back up and bring the knees together. From here, gently make your way on to your back so that you're laying down on the floor. And begin by finding a nice long spine. So feet flat on the mat, knees bent, and make sure the shoulders are nestled down on the back. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. And again, with the left peace finger, see if you can grab a hold of the big toe. Now, if you're not able to reach the big toe in this position, use your hand around the shin. Keep hugging the leg in towards the body. And then we're going to start to straighten the leg. So either fingertips are on the toe or you have your hands around the back of the left leg. Foot is up towards the ceiling. Release your right hand down on the floor and with control, open the left leg out to the side. Keep the right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing into the right foot for stability here. And again, if your left hand doesn't quite reach the big toe, you can be holding on at the thigh or at the calf. Gently guide the leg back to center and then bend the left knee and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Place both hands on the floor with the palms down and bring your legs in towards your body for a reclined figure 4. Both feet are flexed, and again, both hands are connected to the floor here, so you're really stable through the shoulders and the arms. And you decide how close you want to push the legs into the body. And then straighten the right foot up towards the ceiling. Again, both feet are flexed here. Nice. Release both feet down to the floor. Knees are bent. And we'll switch sides. So bring the right knee in towards the chest. And if your right peace fingers can go around the big toe, go for it. We're going to try to straighten the foot up towards the ceiling. And again, if you can't reach the foot, hands go behind your right shin or thigh. Keep breathing here. Try your best wherever it is that you're at. Stay really grounded in the left foot as we open the right leg out to the side. Left hand is connected to the floor. And you can adjust. So maybe if reaching for the toe just really doesn't feel good for you, maybe holding on to the shin or the thigh feels better. Keep breathing as you open up through the inner right thigh. Gently guide the leg back up to center. Release the toe and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Place both hands down on the floor and pull the legs in towards the body in a reclined figure 4 once again. Both feet are flexed. Hands are grounded into the mat. And then you can straighten the left foot up towards the ceiling for a little bit more leverage if that feels good. And then gently lower both feet down to the mat and let your feet be wide on the mat here. So feet are at the edges of the mat, and just gently let the legs windshield wiper from side to side. So let both knees go over towards the right side and then both knees over towards the left. This is just a little massage for the low back. All right, come to stillness. Hug your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side or front and back. And then release your feet down to the floor. Let the soles of the feet come together as the knees go wide, and release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up for reclined bound angle pose. And this is going to be our final posture before Shavasana tonight, which is the very last posture of the practice. You're welcome to stay right here if this feels comfortable for you. If you'd like to take a more traditional version of Shavasana, you can extend the legs out on the mat with your feet mat width apart and just let your feet relax off to the sides. Make sure your shoulders are nestled down on your back, arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. And do what you need to make yourself really feel comfortable and stable here. So if you need a blanket or your socks or something, do that. But close your eyes. Enjoy the firm support of the floor beneath you. This effort that you have put into your practice tonight is absolutely enough. So just relax, rest, and enjoy the effects of your practice. Allow your breath to deepen and let some movement return back into your toes and into your fingers. Just a little bit of wiggling. On an inhale, reach your arms up overhead and extend your legs out nice and long for one long final stretch. Then hug your knees in as you roll onto your right side, keeping your eyes closed. Using as little effort as possible, make your way up to a seat, sitting up nice and tall. And when you find that seat, bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart. I hope that you're feeling a little more grounded or balanced or strong or stretchy or whatever it is that you were needing tonight. And I hope that you were able to embrace this idea that you've got it going on. You are absolutely doing enough. And maybe with this practice, You feel like you could do a little bit more. Or you feel like you have the strength to say, I don't need to do more because I'm doing enough right now. We're going to close our practice tonight by chanting the sound of Om together. And we'll chant it just one time. Take a full exhale. And a full inhale for Om. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you with great respect. Namaste. Thanks so much for coming to class tonight. This is one more of many things that you're trying to do for yourself and your family and your world. And so I'm hoping that you're feeling a little bit better than when we started tonight. I will see you next week. Please feel free to share these classes, but same time, same place. Take care of yourself.